And welcome back to episode 8 of the Common Woman podcast.
Hey.
You know what's funny? Every episode, I have the intention of changing the way that I say the intro, and I say it the same way every single time.
I think it sounds good, so there's no point in changing it.
You made me feel better, girl. Thank you. I'm a creature of habit, so, you know, that works.
I am too, so it works for me.
Yeah. So I, as you know, am Cortnie. I'm your host. I'm joined by my beautiful bestie,
Melissa.
And my amazing husband, who you guys can't see on YouTube, Babe. I like the way you said that. It's funny because a lot of people who watch the YouTube channel, they'd be like, where's Babe? He's the mysterious figure that is unseen but heard. So that was planned, just in case anybody was wondering. We planned to have him off camera, so I thought it was cute.
It's
I'm
cute.
not hideous.
Oh.
No, he's very handsome. Well, they could easily see you if they like do a little research, you know.
I almost said it, but then I was like, let me not.
Yeah,
blow
let
it
me not
up.
make it easy.
Not gonna blow it up.
We are so excited because it is the first Friday in since the beginning of the podcast that it's not raining.
Yeah.
Was
we
that
had
going to be
7
an
rainy Fridays.
Yeah, it was close. It was close because I'm telling you, this weather was like ridiculous. Like in New York, every Friday it was raining. Like it was April, but it's May. So I'm happy.
I'm very
happy to
happy.
see the sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Mel's happy because her hair is laid. You know, I mean, it was always laid.
Could have been a little better, but it's all right. It's all right. Sorry.
You look lovely.
Sorry. Thanks, boo.
Okay, so you know what's funny? The topic today is fear and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And the two of us were fearful coming into this podcast.
I swear, every new episode, I'm more and more nervous before we get on the mic.
It's so funny. Like in the beginning, I wasn't really that nervous, but as each episode goes, like you said, I kind of get like more and more nervous. I don't know what it is.
It's weird. I
And
don't
then
like
today we were just like, what? Like we had like mad things that we talked about, but then it's like, oh my God, what are we going to say? It's like it all goes out the window. It's so crazy.
It's currently out the window, so we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully you guys enjoy
wing it.
these podcasts and are getting something out of it. But thanks again to all our viewership on YouTube. Thanks to all of our subscribers on all the podcasting platforms. We really appreciate that you're sticking with us. And we hope that we can continue to provide content that you relate to and you get something out of and that helps you in a positive way. So we appreciate all the feedback. It was kind of light this week though. We didn't get any emails. I mean, I saw some
what
comments.
happened to my girl?
Delilah, where
It's
you
the
at?
pre-holidays. That's why.
Is that what
everybody's-
happened? Everybody getting ready?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm lying. My cousin, Cecily, she DM'd us. So thank you, Cecily, for sending us those messages. You know, we love to hear from you and we love reading your stories and your comments. You know, a lot of people reach out to us and say that they wish they could comment live while they're listening. So what she does is she'll actually listen to the podcast and she'll DM us as she's listening because she's like, the way my memory is set up, you know, like
She gets it.
She's got a comment right then and there. So I thought that was cute. So, you know, if you guys want to follow suit, go ahead and do that. We'll read everything and we'll respond to you. So we like to feel that connection with our
And
audience.
let us know if you want us to share anything
Yeah, because we don't.
on your behalf.
Yeah. Let us know if you care if we say your name or whatever. So, good point, Mel. Good point. Yeah. So, I guess we should start with trust. Trust is a big, huge topic. I took a poll because Babe over here has been getting on me because every episode I say I did a poll. It doesn't really sound right. It doesn't sound right. Okay, so I did 2 kind of polls on Instagram.
You just said it again.
Oh, I took 2 polls on Instagram, right? Okay.
I didn't even pick up on it.
Oh, the first one was involving trust. And I believe it was 65%. I asked question, do you find it difficult to trust people? And 65% said yes, 35% said no.
Kudos to y'all.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, did you expect for that to be a higher number of yes for people who have difficulty trusting? I thought it was going to be a higher number.
Yeah.
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 Because I know it's not easy to trust, going into a relationship, finding someone that you feel is trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
No, if you do, I mean, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
High five.
Word. High five.
High five.
But, I have a theory in terms of, don't you have a definition of trust?
I do. To me,
What do you think?
I think that trust is believing that a person has your absolute best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I like that.
So.
And that's not Webster's, y'all. That's Melster's.
And so.
And so.
So, yeah.
All right. Silvsters. I agree. But I feel like your trusting someone else really has to do with how much you trust yourself. Because the trust you have in yourself is the gauge you use to measure whether someone is trustworthy or not. Because as we talked about in prior episodes, people present themselves to be like the most trustworthy people in the world, but their actions don't line up with that. Sometimes their words and their actions don't line up. So it's like you have to really be in tune with yourself and know what it feels like if someone presents to you as being trustworthy, but they're not actually trustworthy. Like, I really truly believe that we are equipped with the intuition and the feelings. Like, we get like a trigger.
Well, what did we say earlier when we were waiting for lunch today? We said that
Girl,
if we're in,
I
I actually remember this, but if we're in
over 8 hours ago.
I know,
Yo.
right?
Wait, don't let her forget. Keep going.
I know. Wait, what was it? No. If you're in a low place, if you don't have good self-esteem, you're going to be too self-involved to really receive any messages from someone else.
Yeah.
Because they could be showing you all types of signs, but you're not reading them.
Right.
Because you're in your head about yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And that's something that I literally just recently learned, maybe at the beginning of this year. Like, I've been so self-conscious and, worried about myself and thinking about, like, what are people thinking about me? Do I have something on my teeth? You know what I'm saying? To the point where I'm not paying attention to what's going on in front of me. And that's not good. Like, it's something that you have to constantly work at, but it helps you. If you have that confidence in yourself and you know how to read the feelings that you get and the energy that you're getting off of other people, it changes your life completely, because it makes you feel more confident going into situations with people.
It also makes it uncomfortable.
It does.
It does. Being that in tune makes it so uncomfortable. Because I used to have so much insecurity, and I feel like I've just in the past maybe 3 years been building it and building it and building it. And now I feel like every person that I talk to and I come across, their insecurities are reeking off of them, and I can spot it all. And I'm like, ooh.
And I feel like too, when you start to build up your own confidence, people can read that off of you, and that kind of amplifies their insecurities in a way. So it is uncomfortable sometimes.
Like the gift and the curse.
It is. It
is.
But it's good to be in tune with that, though, because then you don't ever really have to worry too much about whether this person is trustworthy or not. You will know.
Yeah.
Because you trust yourself enough to know that you'll feel it and you can address it. Now, some of us are in tune and do get these feelings and then choose to ignore it. That's a whole nother topic, Why are we ignoring it? Why are we putting ourselves through this punishment of dealing with someone who is not, we clearly know is not worth anything? So get in tune with yourself. That is your gauge. What did I say? I think I said something like your intuition is your spiritual gauge or something like that lets you know when something is safe or not safe. It's the same thing with trust.
I feel bad because I'm sitting here trying to think of what it was I wanted to say for like the past minute, and I'm just staring at Cortnie.
I see it. I see
this
your
poor
wheels
thing is like, come in, and I'm over here like I don't know. It was something, and it's gone, and I
It'll
don't
come
know.
back. It'll come back.
I don't know.
It'll come back.
But
Yeah, this topic is a lot. There's a lot of things that we want to talk about, and one of them is a little controversial because I don't know if everyone's going to agree with me on this, but I do feel like we get our trust from our parents. I always bring it back to the parents, I know, but I feel like as women, we tend to gauge our trust depending on how much we trust our father. So if you really trust your father and you've had good experience with your father and you feel like he's come through for you and he's never disappointed you, things like that, I feel like you will tend to be more trusting with men. This is Cortnie's theory. Mm-hmm. It's not backed by any empirical research. Cortnie's theory.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Yes.
But 100%.
Yeah. So don't quote me on that. This has been my experience. And I say this because, my father has been a very trustworthy man in my life. And I have two brothers who I feel are trustworthy. And I'm surrounded by trustworthy men. So in that aspect, I feel like I've never really felt an issue with trusting men.
You and I both. I didn't know that's where you were going with that.
Yeah, because when I told you earlier today, you was like, man. But you also made a very good point.
Which is?
That it changes with experience. With experience. But I didn't know that's where you were going with it. So that makes so much sense. And I'm just having a moment right now where I'm like, oh my God. That is why in my earlier relationships, I went in with complete blinders on. Because I trusted men.
So
it's like don't say like that. Damn.
It's a good and a bad thing in a way. It's a good and a bad thing in a way because when you're really trusting in someone, like if you don't have an issue with trust, you just, like you were saying, you go into it and you're like, okay, cool. You just trusting. But then we have to realize that trust is earned. It's not, you don't just give out trust freely to anyone. Like this person has to gain our trust. That's why it's important. I think we mentioned before, like it's important to go slowly into things when you're in a relationship and like
I would
get to
say
know
yes,
the person.
And I'm always Speedy Gonzalez.
Depends on your
I always agree. I'm like, nah,
Gonzalez.
I'm fast.
I love it. So you mentioned what's going on right now? I'm getting like Instagram notifications.
You asked for DMs.
I wrote down, what did I say? Trust is feeling confident that the person is who they present themselves to be. Trusting your instincts to know when someone is trustworthy or not. Okay, so we talked about that already. Also, if you want to be able to trust someone, you got to be trustworthy yourself. You know?
Okay.
Because a lot of people out here are doing some craziness,
reckless.
And then they expect for their partner to be
sloppy.
Why you gotta whisper on the mic?
Because it sounds better.
He's trying to get the phone sex.
And it makes
I'm
me
trying to
so
be like
uncomfortable.
you.
I don't.
I knew he was gonna say that.
He was. Yeah. Thanks.
Don't make me say it.
Don't say it. Don't say it at all.
Oh God.
Don't
Oh
say it at
no.
all.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So back to trust. Yes, your parents built that up in you, and as you go through different relationships, and more people break that trust, the more jaded, and I feel like eventually you'll walk into situations and you are guilty immediately. There's everything can just turn negative. Like I used to walk into relationships after, I want to say after like my third or fourth heartbreak. I would walk into relationships assuming you were a piece of shit and you were going to do something wrong. And anything that you did, I mean, not answering the phone, quickly enough, taking too long to call back, telling me you were sleeping. I didn't believe it. I thought you were cheating because that was, the track record.
Yeah.
And it was just, I drove myself crazy. I mean, crazy, like tears galore.
Yeah.
And the guy could have sincerely been sleeping, but I was so insecure. I was so insecure in it.
Yeah.
That it would eat me alive.
Yeah.
It would eat me alive. It's crazy.
How do you deal with that, though? Especially if you've gone through heartbreak, so many
I was
times.
like that for years. Years. Sadly enough, I want to say, I almost want to say this has come to me within the last 3 to 4 years. Like, that's how long I've been acting like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's so bad.
But at
It's
the same
so
time,
bad.
it's understandable because it's like you almost get PTSD from.
You do. And that's
hurt
why I
in a
feel
relationship.
like everyone needs to really work themselves out after a breakup. You have to sit down and you have to reflect. You cannot, because I was one of those people that as long as I got attention somewhere else after that breakup, it was just on to the next. And I was never addressing or healing from it. So you have to sit down and you have to be like, okay, what went wrong here? And really accept whatever part that you played in it.
Girl.
You know what I'm saying? Or if it's really on them, then it's really on them.
Right.
Because some people, some guys are not over an ex or not over being cheated on.
Yeah, I had that happen.
Yeah, you have to get the background and really think about it, reflect on it. Or is it you?
Right.
Are you out here with your phone blowing up at 2 a.m. from a dude and your man sees that and doesn't want that attention?
That was really specific.
Oh, no, that's never happened. I don't know why that was specific, right? But that wasn't like a real example for me. I'm just saying.
This is a podcast about feelings.
I like that. No, but Mel, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Now you got me thinking, did that happen to me before? It might have.
You'll see it on the playback.
You know what? It has. It has. And I used to put my phone upside down. So I'd be like, ugh. Like, Sylvia's calling me. She's bugging. I was
Oh, like. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But you make such great points, Mel, because a lot of people jump right into another relationship because they don't want to do that work afterwards to analyze and think about, like you said, your part as well, because it's a lot easier to look at a situation and be like, it's all their fault, because then it takes the blame off of you and takes the focus off of you, and I feel like it's easier to process that.
And for my ladies with low self-esteem, because this was definitely me, I used to always think, I'm not pretty enough.
Aww.
Or something to that effect. And it's like, it's really not that real, because if he wasn't feeling you, he would have never came and stayed. Like,
Right,
you know what I'm saying? It's
right.
way deep. It's more than that. It has nothing to do with that. But that's always where my mind would go.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the mind is
Mine is
mysterious
messed up.
and crazy.
Mine is messed up.
Yes. But going along those lines with dealing with what happens when you have an issue and you break up with someone, and making sure that you deal with that before getting into the next relationship. You try not to think, like, all or nothing thinking really can mess things up. Like, all men are dogs, or all women are gold diggers. I don't even know if digging is a term anymore, but I'm like dating myself.
It still is. Get out of here. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like,
That song
whatever.
will always be popular.
Exactly.
I love that song.
It is a good song. But if you have that all or nothing thinking, you're going to go into the next situation being jaded. And you're also going to attract those type of people to you too. I really believe that. Like, I'm totally with the law of attraction. If you put negative energy out there, if you put negative thoughts out there, you're gonna attract that negativity to you.
Or a vulture.
Mm.
Or a vulture that's gonna
that's true.
sense your weakness and pounce on
That's
you.
Ooh.
true,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what you mean? For a second.
I couldn't tell by your face. You look like you
I was
were with
confused
it.
for a minute.
But then she stared at me a little too long, and I was like, I don't.
You lost her. You
I
lost
was like,
her.
what if I was just...
My bad.
No, but that was a perfect analogy.
Besides fly, they attack the dead.
Thanks, babe.
Just your dictionary. Don't worry about it.
No, but that's a good point. Yeah, you don't want to put yourself out there to be vulnerable for the vultures.
I attracted a lot of those.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm just attracting everything. It was so awkward
Yo,
today.
we went to lunch and we were we were in the supermarket. Every dude was looking at this girl. Like every single guy was all in her face.
It's been happening lately, and it's been scaring me.
It's so funny.
I'm like, what is
Maybe they
happening?
recognize you on the podcast.
No.
Can you
No,
imagine?
imagine.
Oh my God, that smells.
I wish we were popular like that.
Hey,
But no.
matter of time.
We will be speaking into existence.
All right, we are not popular like that yet. Yes.
Yes. Keywords.
But it's been weird. I'm like, what are they reading off me? That it's
confidence,
that
girl.
attention. It's weird.
That is a trait that is attractive to men.
Is that what it
A
is? The
confident
confidence
woman,
thing?
yeah.
Oh.
Like a dude that's looking for something.
Yeah.
You know, more than just a one night stand. They look for someone that exudes that.
Why is exudes?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm mad that turned you on. Go ahead.
I love when you use big
I
words.
like to use big words.
Why is that men are attracted to that?
Hold your composure. Another big word.
Wait, what?
I'm not ready.
Wait, what?
So why is that? Well, I mean, speaking from my own personal experience or preference, what have you, if I want someone in a relationship with me, I want someone who's going to be my equal and that's going to be there with me. Not that I can never bounce an idea off of because they're not sure, that they can never have an idea, that they can never have a goal in life. They're just like, yes, yes, yes. I don't want a yes person.
Yeah.
I want
And
someone
you don't have one over here.
Word.
You know, I used to be a yes person because I wasn't
Really?
confident in my opinion. And so I wouldn't
So
share
you see,
one.
You changed.
Wow.
I wouldn't share one.
Really?
Yeah.
see?
Now that I think about it, yeah.
I cannot picture that.
Yeah.
I can't picture that
Timid
at all.
with guys. I used to be very timid. And they would share things with me and
Oh.
And I
see?
and I've had opinions, but I didn't want to share them because I didn't want to come across like I didn't know what I was saying or just I was just so self-conscious.
But to me, doing that
Moments like
it
this.
just shows me that it's like, does she have anything in between her ears?
Yeah.
If you just said,
Yeah.
So you guys actually do care about the actual
we
brains
do.
up here.
Like I said, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a relationship, of course, it's not solely about what the person looks like or sex or whatever. But if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for that, then what's in between the ears doesn't really matter because you might not even know her name.
I have an aha moment every damn time.
Every day she's learning
Uh-huh.
You say that, I'm like, that was that. That was me. I did that.
That was deep, babe. And I think a lot of women who are dating right now really will appreciate hearing that, because I think a lot of us feel like men just only care about sex
I think
and not about the person of the woman.
Or we tiptoe with our opinions. We don't want to disagree and turn you off completely.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But this is the thing. It's like, for you guys, think about your own, future wants and needs. Do you want to be in a place or position or relationship where you always have to be submissive and you can't speak your mind?
All right, King. And that's one of the things I really love about our marriage, because in our relationship, it's always been that way. We've always shared, together what we want in life. And thankfully, I thank God that we're on the same page in terms of what we want to do. We're always striving to go higher, and everything that we do is, backed in that, we're always supporting each other and like we have opinions and it's okay. We don't disagree we don't agree on everything. And that's okay as well.
Nor should you. Yeah.
It's like if it's always then you never have new discoveries.
Exactly. You're so stupid.
Never have new discoveries. Dropping those gems on a Friday night.
Y'all are so extra.
So how do you trust people? So I was saying before, you got to trust yourself first. So how do you trust yourself? You got to measure your feelings versus what goes on in your life, what happens in your life. How do you feel when you encounter a new person? What does that feel like? Do you get this weird, sick feeling? Like, are you like, ugh, I don't like being... Because I'm telling you, whether you believe it or not, we are spiritual creatures. We are all spiritual beings. And we have an energy that comes from us. It'll be either positive or it'll be negative. It'll be confusing. It'll be whatever the person is dealing with, whatever the spirit is of that person. If you're in tune with yourself, if you're in tune with your spirituality, you will feel it.
I think you have to clear your energy. I think you have to clear it. And I think that when it comes to trust, I think that... Where was I going with this?
You said you have to clear your energy.
Hold on, I had some. Okay.
It's hard.
I was going to say that you have to start with... You have to reflect on everything that has led you to a place of not trusting. And you have to forgive yourself.
Yes.
And you have to change the narrative.
I love that.
So instead of... obviously we play a part, so you want to acknowledge your part, but you also want to reflect on what their part is and why this happened, and just forgive yourself for maybe ignoring a lot of the signs that led you in staying. You have to forgive yourself, and you have to let it go.
Yes.
And as you do that, and you let go of all the pain and all the baggage, you're clearing your energy.
Oh, I love that.
You're clearing it. and then all of a sudden you're stronger, and you'll walk into a situation and you'll just see clearer.
Yeah.
You'll just see clear, and that'll be that. I feel like now, like I used to walk in situations and always be like, I don't trust him. He's a man. Da 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 da. And now I walk into it and I'm like, all right, let's see. There's no lack of trust. There's just take it day by day.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. I'm gonna cool out and just watch.
Right.
Communicate and watch.
Yeah.
And when you start doing dumb shit,
I'm a see you.
I'm gonna know.
Yeah.
You're losing the trust point, sir.
Ooh. You had mentioned before changing the narrative, and you told me before the show, changing the narrative in terms of like it could be something going on with them.
Yes. So I know that I dealt with someone that I didn't trust, and I didn't trust them because of the suspicious thing with the phone and the females and all of that. But I remembered that he was in a relationship, a very long-term relationship, and he found out that she was cheating the entire time. And so I think that...
From day one?
I think very early on, if not from day one, very early on.
Yikes.
She carried on a separate relationship for a long time. Damn. And for that to be something that, the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? He told me that like date one. So for that to be something that you say on date one, then that is still there. So you're not in a place to be welcoming to a relationship.
That is very true.
You're not there.
I'm having revelations
And his
now.
signs showed me that he was not there. He was trying to show me otherwise, and I saw the effort behind it. But deep down, he just did not want to make himself available for the possibility of being hurt like that again.
Oh God.
And I saw it.
And so many people
And
go
I
through
saw
that.
it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he knows.
Really?
I don't think that he's aware.
Mm.
I don't think that he's aware because he's so, I feel like he has a fake arrogance about him.
Mm.
And so he has to come off like everything is always good and he's always happy. But I can see that is just, you're not there. You haven't worked through it. You haven't gotten past it. Perhaps you haven't forgiven yourself for not catching on earlier and perhaps missing some signs.
Yeah.
But he's just not. I don't think he knows.
And it also sounds like a prideful thing too. Like
he's very
you don't
prideful.
want to accept that.
Yeah.
You don't want to accept the fact that you missed it.
But it clearly hurts enough for you to have shared that so early.
Yeah.
So.
And as you said that, I had a revelation about a past relationship. Well, I can't even really call it a relationship because we never were like officially dating.
Okay.
But I really liked this guy. And I now realize that he used to always talk about his ex-girlfriend all the time. Like he used to like say stuff like, I think they were still friends, and I can't remember the exact conversation that we had, but I just remember feeling weird when he was talking about her. I'm just like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I didn't take that. I didn't take that hint. I just kept going with the hopes that he would eventually make me his girlfriend.
How did you feel? Did it bother you?
It did. It made me feel weird. I was
Did
just
you
like,
ever say anything, address it, or did you feel
I
like
think
you
I
couldn't
did.
really?
I think I did, but he just kind of like brushed it off. Like, yeah, we're friends, you know, because they were together for a really long time before me and him started to talk. So I noticed that like we were close, and then I noticed that he started to pull away little by little. And I was like, what is going on? I actually found out from his cousin, who was my friend at the time, that he got back together with her, and he never told me.
I can't.
He never told me about it. So it was crazy. I called this dude up and like gave him a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
Without cursing, because you know I don't curse. So, but I was just going and going and going and going. And I was like, "Yo, you did this, you did that. You didn't even say nothing. Like, how you gonna do that to me? Like, I thought we was going towards something. Blah 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 blah." He had absolutely nothing to say. Said
knew he was wrong.
nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't
He
give
knew he
me
was wrong.
anything. I was just like, at least argue back. Do something. Like,
There's nothing he could give you. He was dead wrong, and he knew he was wrong.
And it's like he always used to say,
he retreated. I've retreated.
The-
I've retreated.
Run.
Wait, I've retreated. I've faded. I've ghosted.
It's crazy though. But I was just so upset. One, that he didn't tell me. Two, that he didn't even
Absolutely.
argue back or give me anything. But, you know, karma, because it didn't work out. Like, it didn't work out. And then I think I saw him later, and he was all like looking at me with these eyes, and I was like, it's too late. I found the love of my life.
I'm not gonna lie. I always get a little excitement when I see that karma's happened and I get to witness it.
Yes.
I'm around to witness
Yes.
it. So you remember the ex that I talked about that his cousin told on him in the car?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So he ended up marrying that girl.
Oh.
And you don't know what I went through with that. I was like, what is wrong with me? You know, because it was during that time. But one day he called me and I answered. I was curious. I answered the phone. He was upset because, so first of all, she got with him while we were still together. So I don't know how much of that she knew, but she was a crazy chick, so you knew. There's no way you didn't know. So anyway, he ended up cheating. They got married. He ended up cheating.
Wow.
He got caught. She maxed out his credit cards, keyed his car, and broke his Xbox.
What?
Yeah.
That smile of satisfaction,
was like,
though.
I was.
Oh well.
And I remember I smiled. We were on the phone and I smiled and I was just like, well, you had that coming. And that was that.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
It was
Sorry.
a nice feeling. I know. It was a nice feeling. Felt good.
It does feel good when
Felt
you see
good
that. Like,
to witness that. Asshole.
when I used to work with this lady, and she was around when this thing happened with the story I told you before. And she used to say, she's like, just wait. You're going to find the perfect guy, and you're going to have a wonderful relationship, and he's going to be like, oh, man, I made a mistake. And that's exactly, well, I don't know if that's exactly what happened, because I don't know where he's at now, what he's doing. But, you know, the part about me meeting someone else is true, and being happy and stuff like that. So
I feel like the caliber of men has been getting a little better, but it's just still not it.
Yeah.
It's just still not it.
But I feel like that's also the progression too that you go through when you're single. Like, you keep meeting people who are better and better and better, as long as you make the right decision and you don't keep going back to the same dude over and over and over.
Yeah,
you know?
I used to do that all the time.
Girl, me too. Me too. And you know what? Fear plays into that. When you don't feel like you can trust someone, if you don't trust yourself, then you become fearful, because then you're kind of just out here vulnerable to whatever, you know. And anyway, you are vulnerable. Like, being in a relationship involves vulnerability. You know, you're opening your heart, you're opening yourself up to another human who is flawed. We all are flawed. We all are gonna like do things that, you know, we're not always gonna be perfect. It's
always a risk.
Yeah, there's always a risk.
You gotta be ready for the risk.
Yeah, you gotta be ready for the risk, girl. So in the other poll that I took
About time.
on the Common Woman Podcast Instagram page. Okay, so this one I like. It said, "What do you fear the most?" And I gave a couple of different options. Never finding a partner and being alone, finding a partner and they later cheat on you, not fulfilling your dreams, having or not having kids. And then I left the box open for people to, you know, put in whatever they wanted. What do you guys think was the number one answer?
I don't know. I feel like with this age group, it's the kids.
Really?
I do.
What, having the kids?
Not having the kids.
Yeah, having or not having kids.
But who knows? I could be wrong. I don't know.
I thought that it was going to be finding a partner and they cheat on you. But actually, the number one answer was not fulfilling your dreams.
That was my answer.
Yeah.
I took the poll.
You did.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. Made by Mel, actually _ made by Mel, my girl Melanie. Shout out to her. She's spreading the podcast amongst her friends. I appreciate you, girl. She said, not living life to my fullest potential in my career, as a partner, as a mom, etc. So, yeah, I was surprised to see that not fulfilling your dreams is a big deal for a lot of people, or the fear of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm scared as hell. I still feel like I haven't completely figured out what I'm supposed to do, but like I'm kind of in the area of it, but I'm secure in a job that pays me well. I have health benefits. So risking that to do something on your own is the scariest thing on the planet because it can fail.
It's the anticipation
and then
of the
what?
unknown.
And you lose so much of it, of your finances, and I just
and you know what, that fear,
it's freaky. It freaks me out the more I think about it.
Yeah, that fear grows as we get older because we have more responsibility. You know, so it's a very real fear that a lot of us have, and fear kept me away from pursuing my dreams for God knows how many years. Like my entire relationship with my husband. Like I was super depressed when I first met him because he always knew what he wanted to do. And I used to actually be envious of him for it. You know, I used to be envious of him because I used to feel like I have so much inside. I know that I'm meant to do something. What is it? You know, like I tried different avenues. Nothing would work. I kept trying to apply to different schools. I wouldn't get in. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I was so low about it. And then
it wasn't your time yet.
It wasn't my time
You have
yet.
to be in a certain space. Like I feel like I regret, my father forced me to do college right after high school, and I regret it because I wasn't ready for college right after high school. I didn't know the direction and I wasn't focused enough. I feel like with some age, you're more driven, and you know, you have an idea of which direction you want to go and you can focus more. I winged it. And it's like a degree for what?
Right.
Is what I have. Like, for what?
Me too. Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, you know.
Yeah.
Hispanic parents don't get that. Get your ass to school.
You know, it's not just Hispanic parents too, because my parents did the same thing. They were like,
Yeah.
you know, go to school. And my dad's rationale was more like, just get it done, you know.
That's
because
how my
it's not
dad was.
easy.
That's how my dad
It's not
was.
easy
Like, you're
once you-
already in the school zone.
Mhm. Just keep
So
going.
just keep going. And I get that. But then we needed to really, you know what it was though? It was different for me because I went, excuse me, for my first year as a dance major. And then when I decided to drop it, it was a bomb on him. And then I didn't know what to do next. And I feel like I only took like a half a semester off, but it wasn't enough. And I wish that we put more work into a plan.
Yeah.
I just went blind into anything, and it was just the worst decision.
Did you
ever.
feel like when you were in college that everyone used to tell you like, oh, you got time, you don't have to decide what you want to do now? Like, I feel like everybody used to say that.
And 2 years goes by in a flash,
Mhm.
and you don't have any time.
Mhm.
So you have to know.
You should, yeah. 'Cause
You
you
know?
know where I would be right now if I knew what I wanted
Let's
to
not
do
even
back
go
then.
there because both of us, probably majority
know
of
what?
us out here.
At the same time, like you said before, it wasn't the right time. And I feel like
Yeah,
God's time is the right time,
all day.
you know? And I have so much more knowledge and wisdom and life experience that has placed me in the perfect position to be what I'm going to be, like a therapist and this podcast.
I think it's such a blessing that you know, and you're
Girl.
moving towards it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It took me like several years to get here. Like, I was crying about it. Like, how depressed was I, babe? Like,
Yeah.
it was like I'm sure it was annoying because I used to tell you all the time, babe, I don't know what I want to do. You're like, you're gonna figure it out, you know. So like, I kept searching for it, and if you ask, you will get the answer. It may take you a while, but it also depends on how open you are to receiving that answer. That's where the fear comes in, because sometimes we do know what we want to do, but then we talk ourselves out of it, where we fill our minds with all the possibilities of how it's not going to work out instead of all the possibilities of how it will work out.
Blocking the blessing.
Blocking the blessing, girl.
Blocking the blessing.
It's that fear, that anticipation of the unknown. That's my
Yeah.
definition of fear.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Good definition.
We're gonna write our own. We're gonna write our own dictionary, the Mel and Cortnie dictionary.
The Common Woman Dictionary.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
It's a lot of common woman things coming.
Amen. Speak it into existence, girl. Yeah, so I was on this journey trying to figure out what I want. Shout out to my cousin Charisse. She has her own situation called On This Journey.
She
has
does.
a book out
Yes.
as well called On This Journey. Check her out.
She has a good Instagram page.
Yeah, she's on Instagram, On This Journey, I believe, and it's JOURNE, I believe. God, I hope I got that right. But check her out. She's all about women empowerment and helping you along your journey.
She follows the Common Woman.
Yeah.
And we follow her back. So.
Yeah. I'll probably like put something on the page so people can see it. But yeah, she's all about the journey and helping women to, you know, move through your journey, because that is a huge part of it. Finding your path along the way to your career or whatever it is that you want to do. And I used to constantly ask. I'd pray about it. I'd write, I'd journal about it, and I would try things. Like I told you, I was applying to a bunch of different schools for different things. Like I went in to try to do teacher, you know, but I didn't get into that, you know. And then one time I applied to a master's program, and I had an issue because when I was in my first undergrad, I didn't get really good grades. So, because I was messing around, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Girl, me too.
So my GPA was dumb low.
Sound like I don't want to go back to school after that.
You know? And I was like, I'm not gonna get in anywhere. So I went to this one like information session. Afterwards, this random dude, because I'm telling you, God will speak through anybody and anything. Like this guy out of nowhere came up to me and was encouraging me and telling me, look, don't be discouraged because of your low GPA. Just go and see if you could find a way around that. Go to another college, get in, and work your way up. Like you can build up your GPA by doing maybe like a second bachelor's degree or something like that. I never even knew you could do that. So after I had that conversation with him, I looked into it, and that's when I started this journey. I ended up going back to another school, getting my second bachelor's, but it was a quicker process because I had already had a bachelor's. So they were able to transfer my credits over, and I got my degree in psychology. And through my psychology degree program is where I realized that I wanted to be a marriage and family therapist.
Okay.
Because I took a course with a teacher who was a licensed marriage and family therapist. And when she described what it is that she does, I was like, that's me. It was like the universe aligned. Like everything lined up.
Awesome.
And I was like, wow, this is it. I knew it, you know?
I love it.
And once you settle into knowing that knowledge of knowing what you're supposed to do, it's like an unwavering confidence that you have within yourself, within God. You know, it's, you just know, okay, this is where I'm supposed to go. I have a focus now. I have a pathway to get there. And then I applied to graduate school. I got in, no problem. I'm, you know, doing an online program. So, and now I'm like only a year out before I can take my licensing exam.
Right?
That's crazy.
That's so
But
crazy.
this is like how many years, babe?
Mm.
This is like,
That's a while.
I don't know. I don't even know. Like 10, like altogether.
Oh.
Starting the process of me trying to think of stuff and then getting to the place of knowing this is where I'm supposed to be.
You know, they have journals now to specifically help you figure out what you want to do. So I have one. I didn't really delve into it yet, but I skimmed it, and I know that like you'll come into pages that'll say, you know, what are the 3 things that you felt motivated you today? What are some things that you felt like you wanted to do today? Or just like just different questions throughout it. So I have to really start that process, but it's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. They have journals for everything.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know that. Whenever I think of journal, I think of a book with blank pages in it. I didn't know they
they have a lot now that'll ask you specific questions. They have some
like
for
that.
daily, you know, I guess release. They'll ask you some emotions you felt for the day. Anything that went wrong or anything that went really great.
Yeah.
You could just let it out.
Yeah.
You know.
It helps.
Yeah.
It really helps a lot. Like, it's funny when I look back at my journal, I wrote a lot of emotional stuff where I'm just literally like pleading with God, like, please just something, tell me what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you just get desperate sometimes and you just got to pour it out there. And it's so beautiful to be able to look back and see the depth of darkness that I was in.
You're so silly.
And where I've gotten to.
She's so extra.
But that's how it felt, you
Depths
know?
of darkness.
That's how it
You
felt.
were not in no depths
Just
of
like
anything.
a therapist.
No, but for me it was because, you know, everything's relative. Obviously, it wasn't the most horrible thing in life. Like, people have way tougher struggles, you know?
I think it's so sad that so many people, you know, work just a regular job all their life and never feel fulfilled. And that's the scariest thing. That's the scariest thing. And I was one of those people that was almost ready to do that. I was like, I'm just going to work and get my check and have my days.
That.
And I did that. Yeah, I felt like that. Like, I'm just going to die here.
God, no.
I really thought that. I was like, wow, I'm really going to grow old here. And then it wasn't until like maybe like a couple months ago, right, that I was just like, like a couple months ago that I was like, no, I have something else to do. I think what scares me a lot too is my health. I know as healthy as I am, I still have the thyroid condition. So I need my regular checkups and my medication. So not having health insurance scares the shit out of me. So I got to get my husband so that I could get on that. So I could do me.
Oh, I like that. But they have
So I have to
the
worry
marketplace now
about that.
too. You can
But that
get your
scares
own
me.
insurance, and you'll be making enough money to do so. So
Yeah, that's
you know,
one of the
that's
things
another
that I
option,
was
too.
scared about.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't leave a regular job. How am I gonna do this?
But you know what? That fear is crippling sometimes.
Yeah.
That fear can really stop you from fulfilling your dreams and your goals if you let it. And that's, I don't know if you ever heard the term "do it afraid." That
I like that.
changed my life.
I have not. I like that though.
That's something I heard in church one time. That's how it sounded.
Yeah.
Do it afraid.
She did not sound like that. You're so extra.
How do you do it?
I hate you.
Because you know what? I love that though, because
No good.
fear is inevitable. Everyone's going to experience fear. So just do it afraid. And you know what I've also learned? That fear is also sometimes an indicator of something good to come. Because whenever you're about to go to the next level or whatever, you're about to come up on like an idea or something like that, a lot of times fear will come in and attack your minds and will make you feel like it's not going to work out. Oh my God, maybe this is going to happen, or this or that. But if you allow that fear to sink in, then you're not going to go towards your destiny. But if you do it afraid, you'll come out on the other side and be like, wow, what was I afraid of? That's been my experience every single time. So do it afraid. Do it afraid.
There you go.
She did not sound like that initially. I'm so over you. She did not
You
sound
put the
like
battery
that.
in my back.
She did not. I hate you.
One of the ways that you can try to break free from fear is you actually, babe, have helped me with this. I don't know if you know. Because I'm scared of everything. I'm scared of everything.
You and
I am terrified by nature. So a lot of times I'll go to him and I'll be like, babe, I'm so scared of this. Or like, I don't know if this is going to work out. He's like, just look at what everything is. He's reality king. He always gets me to look at the reality of the situation. And that helps to ground me.
He is, and he's also so laid back. Like nothing is that big of a deal.
Nah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Except for when he's driving.
I mean,
Yo, though, come
I
on,
get it.
man.
I get it.
He is
Saying,
you. Y'all two are the same on the road.
I get it.
It should not take you 5 minutes to make a
They
turn.
give everyone a license.
Come on, yo.
They lucky
Why
I'm
are
not
you
out
in the middle of
here.
the road?
I'm saying it's a two-way. Why you up in the middle of it?
Every day.
I hate people that turn out to turn. You don't
Yo.
need to turn out and practically crash into me to turn.
Yes.
They're lucky I'm not out here giving passes on driving tests. I fail every fucking month.
You know, he
It's
says
like-
they're lucky I'm not a police officer.
Yo.
I'd be pulling people over left
I
and right.
would
What?
too. I would too.
It's like the dude is driving a semi
I
and
would-
he's like in a tiny little car, like one of those little
Exactly.
smart cars.
That's one of the things that drives
Yo.
me insane.
Yeah.
Almost being hit by someone, turning a corner.
Mhm.
Yes.
You don't need to turn left, right.
Yes.
Stupid.
Yes, exactly. The wheels turn for
I'm
a
having
reason.
road rage on
Right
the mic. What is happening?
The
Yo,
red-
road rage is real. I had an
Mhm,
old
yeah.
man rage out
Yeah.
on me and was like super disrespectful.
I
Gave me
know,
the
man,
finger
give me
and
the finger
everything.
too. Yeah.
I was like, what happened to chivalry?
No, I had an old man
Out the
give me the
window.
finger too,
Yeah.
and with
That
the
goes in the
face because I
car.
happened to look.
Yeah.
He was mad at me.
You ever have a face off with someone because you're driving down the street and it's too small for both cars to fit? So y'all be standing there staring at each other like, I'm not backing up. You gotta back
I'll
up.
just turn the car off.
You would.
I would. I'd just chill, put the AC on, kick the seat back. We can hang
That
out here
only
for a couple of hours.
happened. That
bro.
only
Absolutely
happened.
would.
All right, so that happened to me twice, and both times the other car looked like they don't give a fuck about life.
Mhm.
Like it already had like a missing bumper or a straight dent, and I'm like, you don't care about life. I'm not doing that.
You're not gonna mess up my
fuck
car.
my car.
Yeah.
So I'll wave the flag and be like, fuck, I hate you.
Ah,
Go
you
by.
punked out.
They don't care. They have complete side swipes on their car. They don't give a shit. I'm not messing with those people. Anybody driving around with no bumper, I'm not messing with you because you don't care about life.
Right,
Mm-mm, you're not gonna mess up my car.
As soon as I see those, I will go around you, slow the F down. I'm not dealing with you. You don't care. I care.
Like they got tape on the
Yeah.
bumper to hold it up.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I can't.
They got
Yes.
a vanity mirror holding up like for the.
You
rear
got a
view.
bag on
Oh,
your window.
God.
No, none of y'all care about life, and I'm not dealing with it.
I'm back trying to pass it off like glass.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing any of it. Yeah, you guys have
You
the
got-
right of way.
Got that clear
Because-
plastic bag going.
There's no fucks given. You have the right of way. Go. Proceed, please.
Yo, you want to talk about fear, though? This one has the ability to strike fear in anyone that looks into his eyes on the road.
Is he crazy?
Yo, I don't think I ever told you this story. One time we were driving and some dude thought that we were going to go when we had the stop sign and he was at the intersection. And
but dude was
we
far
literally
away,
stopped
though.
and he was mad far away.
Yeah.
This dude jumped out the car like he was going to do something, comes barreling up the street like, yo, flailing his arms and everything. Yo, comes up to the window. Meanwhile, Chris is sitting like this, chilling, mad calm, like just like this.
Yeah. No,
Dude gets up to the window. He was like, completely changed his demeanor. He was like, backing up. He's like, oh, you got your girl in the car, whatever. Hops in his car with the quickness and drove off. He really thought he was gonna do something, but he saw the fire. I was chilling because I know how my man is. I was like,
he knew I was gonna calmly beat the out of him.
Oh.
You could have said the word,
Yeah, sounds better that way.
I hate that I'm the only one that curses on this. Somebody needs to come on here and drop something.
This one act like he don't curse.
I never curse. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I'm gonna stop cursing one day.
Oh.
You always say that. I like the way you
Thanks,
curse.
Cortnie.
What? No, I'm just saying. I
For
like the way
blowing
you
me
curse.
up. Let's act like this is brand new. give me
My
some hope.
fault. My fault.
You know?
Say that all the
Just
time.
shut
Girl,
you
you can
down.
do anything you put your mind
She
to.
likes to blow me
You know?
up. God.
I just don't want you to change what I love about you.
You don't love the potty mouth.
That was
Yes,
a nice
I
twist.
do. Because I don't curse, so I enjoy listening to you curse because I just think it's funny.
Weird. Weirdo.
That's
What? I
weird,
think it's
see that?
all right. You know what? Y'all stay ganging up on me. Whatever. I mean, this is not really like what to do with the podcast, but
No,
we were talking about the
totally
fear
left
thing.
field.
That happened again when we were driving on the highway. Some guy wanted to play like around with us and was like cutting us off and being crazy, driving up real close to us. And I was ready to call the cops. Like, this was going on for so long on the highway.
It was that bad.
It was that bad. I picked up the phone and he drove up next to us. And I was like, acting like I was going to call somebody. And then he looked at Chris and took off with like the quickness. He was gone in like
Did
2
he
seconds.
think you guys are racing?
Nah.
I hate when
He
I
was
think
playing stupid.
I thought he thought
He was
we
playing stupid.
cut him off. But we were like, he was mad far behind.
I hate people.
You got to be close
I-
to somebody to cut them off, not like 10,000
Dude,
feet behind.
I get high beams for going in front of someone who's literally 2 cars behind. Like, the space is that large.
Yeah.
It takes everything in me not to be the psycho with the middle finger. But I think those people are so corny, so I
Nah,
don't do it.
so
But
you
I
gotta-
want to be like, "Ugh."
You gotta
There's so much
No, you gotta go
space.
behind them and let go of the wheel with both hands and do it to them, and speed up at the same
It's
time.
just so
Yo.
annoying. Or I hate when men try to race me. I'm not racing you,
Yeah.
sir. I'm not racing you.
Yeah.
What is it about being behind the wheel that changes you into a complete demon? Like, I chased a girl. I chased a woman.
Corny.
Thug.
Can you picture me being like that?
Why did she hit you and try to
She
run?
cut me off and then was acting real crazy. Like, she like straight cut me off. Oh wait, no. She cut me off. But it was like she was in the whole entire wrong lane, and then she came over and cut me off, and I was like mad. And then she was like taunting me on the road and like not letting me pass her or something like that. So then I sped up and I chased the chick. And then she was like I was like right on her. Like, I don't recommend this to anybody. I don't recommend this. It's very
See that?
reckless.
See that?
I can't even see
And she
this.
And
says
she
I'm reckless.
she wrote something down and put the paper up on the window. I have no idea what she
What
said.
did it say?
I have no idea. I would love to know what it said. Either like she's calling the cops or
Probably.
F you
Yeah,
or
probably calling the cops.
Could
It
you
was
imagine
so
putting
funny.
a note that says I'm calling?
how am I gonna read that?
How do you think I'm driving 80 and I'm reading your signs, stupid?
Then I was like,
Write it
calm
thicker,
down.
damn it! Write it thicker.
I lost
You
myself.
can't read nothing with a pen, right? You know.
I have to talk to myself as I drive every day. It's not that serious.
That's
You're not
more-
running late.
That's more of a problem,
Slow
though.
down. You don't have to go around this person.
That-
Yo,
Relax. I still
the
go around the person,
though.
but
It's
I
necessary.
try so hard. Like, just chill. Just chill out.
Mhm.
Relax. It's not that deep.
It's so hard. But then
It's
people
that
be,
deep.
Yeah.
people be driving Miss Daisy and stuff. It's like I
Yo.
gotta
The
go.
Grand Central takes the cake for that.
Yo.
Anyway, we went way off topic.
We always do this.
Sorry about
we
that.
always do this.
But we know that a lot of y'all listen to this in the car.
Yeah.
Try
Hopefully.
not to have the road rage.
Yeah, man. Don't be
on
listening
your
to
way
the
to
podcast
work.
and raging out. I don't recommend that. I'm trying to be better. You know, my daughter helps me. When
Oh,
she's
you
in the
can't
car,
wild out with her in the
I don't
car.
do
Yeah,
that.
no,
I don't.
no,
I don't.
absolutely
like
not.
that.
Whenever I have my friends' kids in the car, I'll be calm as hell. I'll be the one in the right lane. Like,
By
"Meh."
myself though.
Yes, it's a problem.
I can't even imagine what you're like by yourself. If you're like that when I'm in the car with you, man, we could tell stories for days about road rage with this dude.
Saying though, if you don't know how to drive, get off the road, yo.
You and your censoring.
See that? No bleep or anything, yo.
Oh my god. So back to fear and trust.
There you go.
I can't remember what I wrote, so I'm just gonna read it. So we were talking about fear and how to break free from it, right? So I was saying, think about the reality of the situation. Chris helped me to always ground myself in reality. So, you know, I said before, I'm a Christian, I'm very spiritual. So what I'm about to say is kind of spiritual, so take it how you like it. I said, ground yourself in faith. Find a solid place of trust that you know is unwavering and hold tight to that. For me, it is my faith in God and knowing that He always has me no matter what situation arises. So no matter how bad it may get or seem, I know He will sustain me and bring me through if I rely on Him and do the work on my end.
Oh, praise to the
That felt
Most
really
High.
good
That
saying
felt
that.
good.
That felt really good saying that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny how when you read things back, like it will speak to you more than when you wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're journaling, do that. Write your stuff down, but then go back and read it.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
It's you'll get a different message every time.
Well,
Wow.
all right.
Is that a wrap? Is it affirmation time?
It's affirmation time.
That was a deep one today. We were very.
I enjoyed it. I had a
Mm.
revelation, as
Yeah.
usual.
I did too.
You guys get me every time.
You get me, girl. You be saying stuff.
All right, so the affirmation for the week is every experience I have is perfect for my growth.
Amen.
Write about it.
Yo, that's true.
Write about
Every
it.
experience is perfect for my growth. She said, write about it. Write it down. Write down your experiences. Write down your feelings.
Write down that ugly truth you don't want to tell anybody.
Yes.
Write it down.
Yes.
Get it out. Because if you don't get it out, it gets trapped and it will.
Eat you alive.
It will.
From the inside out.
It will.
Write down your fears too. You know, it's important to get it out there and remember, do it afraid.
That was a good one, though. That was a good one.
That was very pastoral of you.
It had a perfect tremble
what
in the
I'm saying?
voice.
Deacon Valle in the house.
You just needed the foot stomp.
Well, on that note, fam,
Yes.
I hope you guys got something out of this podcast today because we were afraid going into this. We weren't sure how it was
I
going to
got
go.
something out of it, so
I did too.
as long as there's one.
Amen. Amen.
Hey.
So feel free to please DM us, email us. Our page is The Common Women Podcast on IG. Oh, we have a Twitter page now. I think I set that
Oh,
up
we
in between the
do.
last two
We didn't
podcasts.
speak about it?
I don't think so.
All right.
Our Twitter page is at Common Woman Pod, POD. So it's not the whole thing because, you know, Twitter is like
They
character
limit,
limitations and
yeah.
stuff. So at The Common Woman Pod on Twitter. Tweet us because I literally have like 12 followers. So
Probably got more than
make
me.
us feel good, girl.
Send us messages, stories you want us to share, any
Mm-hmm.
ideas for topics, just anything.
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 Any reactions, any disagreements.
Exactly.
Any revelations. I don't know if you just said that.
I don't remember, but
Um,
if there's anything you want us to share, just let us know. Share this,
Yes.
and we will.
Yes, absolutely. And if you want to email us, if you're an email person, the email address is thecommonwomanpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page. it's whatever. Not really that fond of Facebook that much anymore. But whatever. IG, Twitter, email. Thank you so much for still watching and still listening. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time on the Common Woman Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.